Namaste, Jai Bharat. We have 12 Jyotirlingas in Bharat, and first one is normally counted as the Jyotirlinga at Somnath in Gujarat. This is another Jyotirlinga nearby Nareshwar state. Now you know the story of every Hindu in Bharat knows the story of Somnath, and 17 times the temple was destroyed. 17 times it was destroyed. And the destruction began with the Mahmud of Ghaznavi. And he came with his army and attacked Somnath temple for the first time. And the Gujaratis, there are some Sompuri Brahmins in that area. Those Brahmins are also having called as Sompuris. Somnathis, and I used to tease my friend Professor Sompuri that you are the people who created problem there. When the Mughals attacked, you told the poor devotees that don't worry, he will take care of you, and those people died actually. In 4 hours of destruction in Somnath, 50,000 Hindus killed. 50,000 Hindus sacrificed their life. There was a shock to them because we don't have the concept of temples being attacked. We know battle, we know great warriors, we know great battles, we know soldiers fighting soldiers, but people never experienced a group of invaders coming and destroying a temple. That we never experienced. So no one ever had imagined that the invading army is going to destroy the temple. Actually, there are 2 dimensions towards this destruction of temple. For nitwits, normally these people are not very intellectual, just except the Hindu kings. The many others are on Aristotle. Of course, Alexander, of course, was a student of Aristotle. Most of the kings, leaders, were illiterate. Akbar did not know how to read and write. And you write in the history textbooks that Akbar is the Great. He didn't know how to read and write. So that's the situation with most of the kings, and they're not scholars. Mostly very, what do you say, very lesser kinds of minds. They just rule like what Francis Bacon says, he is a prince, he knows how to cheat you to believe that you are great. If the prince, he knows how best to deceive his people, that's what Bacon says, and he's right given this context. So they are not scholars, they are not intellectuals. Most of them used to be barbarians in spite of their idea. So the first attraction was to loot the wealth. Hindu temples were always centers of wealth. So the first attraction was to loot the wealth. And don't forget one thing, Hindu temples were not just the centers of wealth, where plenty of gold and diamonds and precious metal, precious stones were kept, but they are also pathshalas. They were centers for education. The temples used to be centers of excellence. The temples used to be where art, culture, music, dances, things were evolving. So it's a cultural center. Our temples are centers for Sanskriti. So the second dimension, which I am sure the invading idiot won't understand, or he has not understood, but the second dimension is when you destroy your temple, which is the center of everything, which is the center of Sanskriti, it's destroying your self-esteem. And once the self-esteem is destroyed, most of the Muslim invaders, what they used to do, they erase the temple and create a mosque there, creating another dimension of the person's identity or the people's identity. This is how they have succeeded spreading religion all over the world. The invasion of Sindh is the typical classical example. Though Qasim's invasion, it did not succeed totally. They captured the area, but there were still plenty of Hindus left. So this is how they tried to change the Sanskriti of a land. So that way, one can legitimately call these people as destroyers of civilizations, the great destroyers of civilization. If you look at civilizations of the world, the civilizations were destroyed by, in all ancient civilizations were destroyed of the world except the Hindu civilization, which is still surviving. So let's say we are not victims. Let's say we are not victims, we are survivors. We fought it out and we are still here. And the invasion goes on in multiple manners. So Somnath was a center of everything. So first this man, the Ghaznavi, looted, and the amount of money he carried today it should be roughly worth 100 crores today. One time, one invention. Elephant full of gold, camels, that's how he carried. And his worth is about 100 crores today. That's how I come to know. This is what I came to know. Then from Ghaznavi till Aurangzeb and the British, the invasion destruction took place 17 times. 17 is not a small time. And the last but one invasion, and the last invasion, of course, that destruction, the temple stayed destroyed for almost 75 years. 75 years. And when Devi Ahilyabai Holkar was ruling Indore, she was greatly moved by the pathetic situation of Somnath temple, which is a part of her identity. Part of her identity, part of my identity, part of everyone's identity in this country. And Ahilyabai Holkar, Maharani Holkar, she is ruling Indore. Indore is in Madhya Pradesh. Gujarat is an adjacent state. But from Indore to Somnath, the distance is not less. It's very far. And from Indore to Kashi also, the distance is not less, it's very far. It's the same Ahilyabai Holkar, Ahilya Devi Holkar, Devi Ahilya Holkar, the queen who reconstructed not only Somnath, she also reconstructed Kashi Vishwanath and many temples. She was a very spiritual person, very, very hard Hindu. Maratha she is. I don't think that Indore is she is from Indore. She is a Maratha who ruled Indore. Similarly, our Baroda king Syed Rao Gaikwad is a Maratha. So these Marathas who came after Shivaji Maharaj, they gave strength to Hindus of Bharat. And the one thing, amazing, great thing with the Marathas is that they had gone to rule different places. Like look at Baroda. Many such places in Bharat. Look at Indore, look at Jhansi, look at Gwalior. These people went there, they were kings, they were ruling, but they became locals. Gaikwads became Gujaratis, practically. Holkars become MP people, and so on and so forth. So she reconstructed Somnath towards the end. What she did not make a great temple because she thought that now if I make one more great temple, then the invaders will again come and destroy. So she made a relatively small temple where the Shivlinga is kept below the ground level so that it not easily carried off, and there is a small temple which is still there. It's after independence, our Iron Man of Bharat, Sardar Vallabh Bhai Patel. Sardar Patel, his first focus was to reconstruct Somnath temple in today's glory. But that wasn't easy. Because there were objections and obstructions from the other Congress people like Nehru himself. Nehru was Prime Minister Actually, Sardar Patel would have been my Prime Minister. It's through a kind of funny deception that Sardar Patel is not made Prime Minister. So Nehru and company are objecting to that would go against the secular fabric of Bharat. We are not secular in that sense. Secular is not destruction of Hindu Dharma. Secularism is not abusing Hindu Dharma and appeasing others. That's how people understand secular. In that sense, no one is secular. I don't want to be secular like that. We called us seculars, not secular. So, Sardar Patel had to face a lot of difficulties in constructing Somnath temple even after independence. Then, I think one Shankaracharya, I don't remember where, has told his devotees that don't reconstruct Somnath temple for 100 years. Let Bharat be free. Then you reconstruct. And even after Bharat became free, they could not reconstruct. And he also added one thing. I forget the name of Shankaracharya. He also added one thing. You reconstruct Somnath temple only after Ram Mandir is built. Yes. They waited. That's the right kind of prediction. Let Ram Mandir be built. Then go for construction, reconstruction Somnath temple in its ancient glory. The speciality is that it is number one Jyotirlinga of Bharat. The concept of Jyotirlinga is there. It's for you to search and find out. Now, the Jyotirlinga in Somnath temple was made of something out of the world, in the sense that stuff which the Jyotirlinga was made is not from this world. Presumably, as people suggest, it's from outer space, and it levitates. It used to levitate. It was not touching the ground. The Somnath actually was levitating in Somnath temple, which of course was destroyed by the Ghaznavi. Of course, his death is pathetic. That also is there in history. Destroyed by him. So, then they say the pieces of the original Shivlinga of Somnath, some people have collected it with some people that stories about it. Some portion is with someone, etc. So that's a real stuff with which it's made, should not be brought back until Ram Mandir is built. So some scholars say that it's time that it will be brought back. Anyway, the Somnath temple has a lot of unknown secrets behind it, buried in it. One thing is very clear, that from the point of Somnath, there's an arrow pointing to south, which is there on the sea, very ancient arrow. And from that point till the South Pole, there's no landmass in between. It straight points to South Pole, no landmass in between, no obstruction in between. I said this only to say, how did they know it at that time, ancient people? And how ancient Indians knew things, we know it's through Yogesh, is amazing to the people. So Somnath was reconstructed. For Sardar Patel, it was re-establishing the glory of Bharat or the Hindu Dharma, for which he also had to struggle. Devi Ahilyabai Holkar didn't have to struggle that much. She made a small temple so that should not attract attention of the invaders. Size doesn't matter. The importance is Somnath, which everyone understands. So we shall meet again with some other thoughts, some other video. Till then, Namaste, Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.